Ripple XRP to save the banking system? That's what we're going to break down today. So in today's video, we're going to break down the FDIC bank failures since 2023. I'm going to break down some facts, figures, numbers, logic. But before we kick it off, I want to introduce myself. My name is Coach JV. I go by CJV. And what I like to do is make the complex simple. The whole mission of my platform is to help keep people calm. I truly believe this is the greatest time in human history. I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys. Over the last 4 years, I've matured dramatically in this space. And what I mean by that is cryptocurrency was my only asset. I was like, oh, I'm going to get rich in crypto. Crypto is going to change my family's life. I'm going to retire off crypto. And over the last 4 years, I've worked harder on myself than I do anything else by understanding, number one, the mechanism of freedom. Number two, how money actually works. And I already knew it from the banking system, but how it works from a wealth level and why only 96% of people retire with less than $1 million. I started to study why people are poor and the mechanisms of how they keep us poor. And so over the last 4 years, I've diversified in cryptocurrency and outside of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is an awesome opportunity if done correctly and with an exit plan and an understanding that you need to be non-emotional about these markets. There's so much hype. Now we're in the meme coin with Pepe. Those are not investment strategies. Those are addictive behaviors that will always get you wrecked. Yes, people will make money off meme coins, but most people that follow meme coins and follow these type of strategies, they're addictive, destructive behaviors. And I'll tell you what, Warren Buffett's not chasing meme coins. The wealthiest people in the world are not chasing Pepe. They're not chasing Dogecoin. They're not chasing pumps. They're not waiting for XRP to go to 589. What they're doing is they're making real world solve investments for the long term. They have a strategy. They always have an exit strategy. They're diversified. They're calm. They're not emotional. And what they always do is they take their gains and they secure them in real world assets that will hold their value. So over the last 4 years, I've matured into that. And that's what I help people do is get their shit together in the greatest time in human history. So it's not about get rich quick. It's about understanding how the mechanisms of money work, understanding it's non-emotional, and that we need to get out of this indoctrinated state of mind, going to school, get a job, get health insurance, and get your 401k. The 401k before 1974, well, which is the stock market, was considered the casino. And in 1971, they detached us from the gold standard. So now our money is worth nothing. We're a debt-based society, and we put our hard-earned money into the casino, hoping that we'll retire with over $1 million. But only 6% of people retire with $1 million in America. Think about that for just a moment. So if you're going to keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, that's a definition of insanity. So I'm not left, I'm not right. My present CEO is God. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Coming off an awesome weekend at the XRP Las Vegas. Huge shout out to Brad Kimes. He did a phenomenal job at the conference. The vibration, the frequency, the love was out of control. Great job to Brad Kimes and his team. All right, so let's dive right into this. So the first thing I want to talk about is this is something I'm following very, very heavily. I'm an ex-banker. I understand banking at a very, very deep level. What I do understand at a very deep level is that our banking system is in a systematic, dramatic change that is going to change the way that we do banking. Your banking system is in a liquidity crisis. Now, what does that mean? Every single dollar in the system is another person's debt. So every dollar you put into the system is someone else's loan or someone else's debt. There is no real money in the system. The American dollar was attached to oil, and most of the countries are working to de-dollarize by trading oil outside of the US dollar. So that's something that's happening right now. But now we're starting to see the systematic cracks in the system. So this is the FDIC report. And then on the back end, I'm going to show you why Ripple and XRP could be one of the many different factors in an ecosystem of a change on how we move money through the system. Okay. So people get so caught up in being XRP Maximus, XLM, Pepe, whatever it is, guys. There is a systematic change happening. There's JP Morgan, there's Wells Fargo, there's Bank of America, there's Apple, there's Samsung. There's not going to just be one XRP. There's not going to be just Ripple. There's not going to be, it's going to be many different companies working together to create the new monetary system, on-demand liquidity, real-time payments. Some are going to work with consumers, some are going to work with institutions, some are going to work with directly with the consumers, some are going to work B2B, business to business, some are going to connect there's just so many different mechanisms. That's why I don't want our people, our friends in our ecosystem to fall for this bullshit get rich quick. It's a complete scam, guys. You're gonna get wrecked if those are your behaviors. If you're focused on, oh, I'm gonna catch this, you're going to get wrecked, guys. We need to understand that's why so few people retire with wealth. You are one decision away from starting to change the mechanisms of rewiring your subconscious mind to how wealth works. So we've had 3 systematic failures, and I believe there's going to be more. Remember, all the failures are announced on Fridays. They do that on Friday because people are busy on their weekends. They make the announcement on Friday. The FDIC takes over, and they do what's called a bail-in. A bail-in is different from a bailout. A bailout is an injection of equity. A bail-in is when they turn the debt into equity and they sell it on the open marketplace. So if we look at the 3 failures, we've had Silicon Valley Bank, which was the first one, right? Which was blamed on cryptocurrency when they already knew Silicon Valley Bank was in trouble. They knew that First Republic was in trouble. They knew that all these banks were in trouble. So I'm going to show you these interconnected web that I think is happening right now. So Silicon Valley Bank was the first one to fail, which was our first one on March. There was 2 to fail in March. One has failed in May. And I feel like we're going to have more in May, just my opinion. They say there's about 190 banks that are at risk of failing right now. So to protect depositors, on Monday, March 13, 2023, the FDIC transferred all the deposits to Silicon Valley Bank, and then they bridged it to NA Full Services Bridge Bank that was operated by the FDIC. The FDIC entered into a purchase and assumption agreement for all deposits and loans of Silicon Valley Bank, the first Citizens Bank and Trust. As part of the transaction of Silicon Valley Bank was placed into receivership. So it seems like, if I'm reading this correctly, I don't think it's been purchased. So is the FDIC holding Silicon Valley Bank? And that's interesting because I'm going to show you some connections there. I may be reading that incorrectly, but correct me if I'm wrong down below. Then we had Signature Bank that failed on March 12th, 2023. Signature Bank New York was closed by New York State Department of Financial Services, which appointed the FDIC as receiver. So they appoint him as receiver, and then they do the bail-in, and then it goes on the open marketplace, and it was put into purchase and assumption agreement, and all deposits and certain loan deposit portfolios with Flagstar Bank NA, so owned by a subsidiary of New York Bank Corp. Okay, so we'll dive into that a little bit later throughout our ecosystem. Then First Republic Bank was taken over by JP Morgan National to assume all of the deposits and sustainability of all assets from First Republic Bank. So we've had 3 bank failures. Okay, now really interesting enough is the FDIC. You guys remember Jay Clayton is the one that initiated the case against Ripple. So put that in your block on December 20th, 2020. Okay, so this is the Board of Governors. This is a letter from Michael Barr. Okay, we want to put Michael Barr into our thinking tank. We want to put Jay Clayton into our thinking tank. Okay, we want to write those names down. So Michael Barr used to sit on the board of Ripple. Okay, if we go back here, former Treasury official Michael Barr joins Ripple Labs in 2015. There was a big economic shift happening from 2012. The FMOC was created, which Gary Gensler was the start of that. We had the bail-in committees that were started for the banks, and now Jay Clayton is part of that. And then we had Rosie Rios, was supposed to reduce coin and cash usage, which she is now on the board for Ripple. Okay, so this is the letter he did on April 28th. The Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve. So now Michael Barr, that was on the board for Ripple, now sits. Oh, sorry, it's not switching over here. Let's see here. View FDIC tab. Let me see. Is that showing for you guys here? Let's switch it. Oh, there we go. Duh. Let's go here. Boom. There you go. So that's that shows you him. And then what I was reading off of was the letter right here. So this came out April 28th. So let's back up. So Michael Barr was on the board of directors for Ripple, is now runs the Federal Reserve. Okay. So now he runs the Federal Reserve. Jay Clayton was the head of the SEC, is now on the board for the bank bail-in committees. Okay, Silicon Valley Bank failed because of a textbook case of mismanagement by the bank. Its senior leadership failed to manage its basic interest rate liquidity risk. Its board of directors failed to oversee senior leadership and hold them accountable, and Federal Reserve supervisors failed to take forceful action. Okay, so they knew that they were in trouble in 2019. Nobody did anything. They've known the banking system is in trouble since 2012. They started the bank bail-in committees. Now, the interesting thing is the interest rate risk. Okay, they all knew that they were going to jack up interest rates. So there's really nothing they can do other than keep pumping liquidity into the system. Remember, we're the liquidity guys. Okay, if we're not lending, if we're not getting loans, there's no money in the system. If Jerome Powell keeps raising interest rates, that's going to keep messing up the market. Number one, there's mortgage-backed securities that are sucking liquidity out, and there's the bonds that are sucking liquidity out because they had a bunch of 10-year Treasury bonds, which is giving a loan to the government. Now, the smaller terms are more attractive, which is lowering the value of the 10-year and the mortgage-backed securities. So it's sucking all the liquidity out of the bank. At the same time, we're going to be losing our jobs. We can't get loans. Right? So now the liquidity just keeps getting sucked out of the banks. Okay, so now we know the first three banks failed in. Michael Barr was on the board for Ripple. He is now the head of the Federal Reserve. Okay, then we go over here and we look at Jay Clayton. So now we know that Jay Clayton sits on the Systematic Resolution Advisory Committee. You can't make this shit up, guys. So Jay Clayton initiated case against Ripple in 2020. Now Jay Clayton sits on the Systematic Resolution, keyword, Advisory Committee for the FDIC, which is responsible for the bank bail-ins. Michael Barr, board of directors for Ripple, is now the head of the Federal Reserve, which is dealing with the bank bail-ins. Jay Clayton, that initiated the case against Ripple, who consults for cryptocurrency funds, is now sitting on the resolution committee for the FDIC. Gary Gensler, who is now the head of the SEC, was the start of the FMOC, which is regulating now non-bank financial institutions. They're all moving around the system. And then we all know that Rosie Rios sits on the board of directors for Ripple and is responsible for bringing in a new monetary system or new currency. That I want to speak correctly. She said she's responsible. So was the first person to sign last person to sign the $100 bill. And then she literally is responsible for bringing in a new currency, a new type of currency. She also was told in 2012 to reduce coin and cash usage, but couldn't because you have to have a shock to the system to move consumer behaviors. We had a shock to the system in 2020. Jay Clayton initiates the case against Ripple, one of the most innovative, disruptive technologies in the world. And then Rosie Rios on September 26, 2021 says XRP's primary purpose is facilitating cross-border payments while other cryptos find their value in speculation. This is so key. So this is coming from the 43rd Treasurer of the United States, who sits on the board for Ripple. You don't think they're connected, guys. And she says XRP is the only one that facilitates something that has real demand. Everything else is speculation. And the only one that has, that she's saying, that has real demand, real utility is the one being sued by the SEC. If you can't see what's happening, I don't know what to tell you guys, but you have to understand, you can't bank your whole life on XRP going parabolic. You can't, warriors. You have to understand how to diversify, how to get out of the markets too when we go into this bull run next year. We're going to go into a bull run, okay? Your cryptos are going to go up. You have to get out when everybody gets excited. What I mean by that, I'm holding 50% long-term of my fundamental cryptos, and 50% I'm exiting out in a ladder strategy. I will be pulling as everybody else is exciting, thinking it's going to continue to go up. When everybody goes sliding down the back end, I'll have already pulled 50% of my profits. I will secure those in cash generating assets, and I'll use the cash from the assets to put back into crypto. People are like, I'm putting money on the sidelines. Put that money into an asset. You put it into leveraged life insurance, real estate. Precious metals does not generate, it holds value. So you can put in something that holds value, put into real estate that generates cash flow, rebuy back into the markets with cash flow. You can do leveraged life insurance. You can borrow against your leveraged life insurance, buy back into the asset, right? There's many different ways you can do this, okay? And I have to give a shout out, guys. This was such a cool event this week, and I was a speaker at this event. Brad Garlinghouse showed up on Friday night, showing his support for the XRP community. He said, "Great to meet so many of the folks from the XRP community at XRP Las Vegas 2023. The camaraderie is remarkable." No matter how much hate's out there, guys, you have to go to these events. It was such high frequency, high love individuals there. It was absolutely amazing. It was so remarkable. Just great human beings, guys. So, I'm all about the light, love, and positivity. There's so much hate and grossness out there. I love every single one of you. Like, the hate is just, it doesn't need to stop. It's never going to stop. All I say is I unconditionally love all of you guys without expectation. So let's dive into it. So now we know what's going on with the banking system. We understand that we're in a liquidity crisis, bank failures. We know that the players moving around the game. Let's listen to what Ripple actually solves, okay? Let's listen to what Ripple actually solves now that we know the problem in the banking system.
The market for global payments is immense, estimated at over $130 trillion and growing. But its infrastructure is archaic. The challenge? Trapped capital, intermediaries with high fees, slow settlements, incomplete transaction data, frustrating failure rates, and single-point security exposures. At Ripple, we understand these challenges and have created an innovative payment solution that leverages the XRP ledger and the digital asset XRP. XRP is the perfect crypto for payments because it transacts quickly at very low cost with high throughput and is carbon neutral. Ripple's payment solution uses XRP to bridge fiat currencies, eliminate pre-funding, and makes payment terms visible, which supports our partners' compliance efforts. And we offer affordable line of credit options that enable capital agility and rapid scaling. When you are ready to scale to new corridors, our network provides you access to premier receivers in key markets that you can start transacting with in as little as 4 weeks. Here's how a Ripple payment works. The sending institution requests a fiat-to-fiat quote on pricing and foreign exchange, or FX. The sender receives and approves a quote with pre-negotiated FX margin from the receiver. The sender submits the payment instructions. The sender debits funds from a digital asset wallet funded by Ripple with XRP and transfers funds to the receiver in less than 3 seconds. The receiver immediately pays out the end beneficiary in fiat according to the payment instructions. In parallel, the receiver converts XRP to fiat. The sending institution is invoiced at the start of the following business week, post-transaction. The benefits are clear. Payments in seconds with lower transaction fees that are available when you need them, are reliable, transparent, and are managed elegantly. From remittance to small and medium enterprise to treasury payments, Ripple transforms your global payments.
All right, so let's talk about this. So what is the problem? Trapped liquidity. The banking system is broken. We are the liquidity. The money is trapped. They're worried about a systematic bank run in non-bank financial institutions. They have to get liquidity moving fast. Billionaires are going to become trillionaires. Millionaires are going to become billionaires, and being a millionaire is going to mean absolutely nothing. That's going to be like making $100,000 a year. You have to rationalize that they printed trillions of dollars, family. Trillions. If you can wrap your brain around that, we have to get out of this indoctrination, industrial, archaic banking type system thinking. You have to understand the wealthiest people in the world always leave with a bunch of real estate, precious metals, the things that hold value. A along their journey and along their path, they use speculative assets, boom and bust cycles, innovative companies to make a large amount of money, and they start to make their moves. There's a reason why Warren Buffett closed out of all of his bank stocks except Bank of America in 2020 and increased his position in Bank of America and increased his position in Apple because he knew something was coming. He's not sitting back focused on Pepe. He's not sitting back worried about if XRP goes to 589. He's investing in real world assets, companies, and infrastructure that he thinks is going to change the monetary system or that people use on a daily basis that are going to be here into perpetuity. So here's how XRP works. I think we simply know how XRP works. And then this is the one thing I want to show you guys, a really cool guide. It talks about the growth in business with Ripple's payment solutions. It's a global payment solution, right? And this is one of a great innovative technologies, Ripple. And this breaks down capital markets. It's really important to understand that everything is going to be tokenized, guys. Everything is going to be tokenized. And as I had great conversations with people this weekend, I was so grateful to hear the message that people are hearing from me is around inspiration, motivation, and getting your shit together. That's all I heard. And I'm so grateful for that because that's what I want to get across. I've been brutally honest with you guys about my maturity process through this. 4 years ago, guys, I was broke on my parents' couch. And I had to ask myself why. Thank God I had my crypto portfolio. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to end up in the same position again if I keep chasing pump and dumps. I stopped watching all content that had anything to do with addictive type behaviors. It was like, oh, you're going to get rich, because I was getting wrecked all the time. And I started looking at how the system actually works. Okay. The rich are always going to be the rich. The poor are always going to be the poor until you rewire your subconscious mind and understand how wealth works. It's a frequency, guys. When you get your shit together and you become balanced and you realign your body and you become the foundation, you become a tuning fork, you can see clear, you are no longer emotional like the stock market. You can make better decisions. So you should be working harder on yourself than you do anything else, because it doesn't matter if you become a millionaire in crypto, you're going to have the exact same amount of bills. You're going to have the exact same problems, only exacerbated. So I've helped over 6,000 warriors. My family, our team of over 27 team members, have helped over 6,000 warriors worldwide get their shit together. In our academy, you have my 120-day challenge. Go in there and start day one all the way. Fitness, mindset, Airbnb, crypto education, access to portfolios, the 5 pillars of wealth, exactly how we build, and most of all, the most beautiful ecosystem of kind, high-frequency individuals working to get our shit together. We're not battling against anybody. We're working harder on ourselves than we do anything else. So I'd love to see you inside the Warrior Academy, one of the most beautiful communities in the world of high-frequency individuals, and I believe that you belong there. So I'll see you on the inside after this video in the description down below to join the Academy. Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go.
The system is designed to keep you trapped. 2017, I walked out of a high-paid vice president job because I was absolutely miserable. Working 16 to 19 hours a day because that's what the system taught me to do. And what I discovered through countless hours of meditation, research, reading books, understanding how the millionaires and billionaires operate, the system is designed to keep you trapped. Today, I own multiple companies. I travel all over the world. I'm financially free, and that's exactly why I created this community of like-minded warriors coming together called the 3T Warrior Academy. Now, I don't say this to brag. I'm sharing this with you to show you what's possible for you. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to take your life to another level, we believe the Warrior Academy has something for everybody. Processes that take you step by step through disciplined, consistent activities, and that's exactly what you're going to get. Our 120-day challenge, all you have to do is open up the app and take it day by day. We're going to take you through the disciplined, consistent activities to take your life to the next level. Within 1 week, you're going to feel a difference. Within a month, people are going to notice a change in you. That's how powerful this 120-day challenge is. So if you're truly ready to break free from the old paradigm into a new paradigm of discipline, consistency, great relationship with your family, financial freedom, and learning the pillars of wealth that will change your life and generational wealth to come, I'm going to invite you to do our program for 7 days for free. The 120-day challenge has changed over 5,000 warriors' lives worldwide, and we hope to be yours next.
Warriors, let's get your together. Let's go.